probably should have showed fixing my slight oops and making it a bigger oops last night, but I was so proud of myself I put down the roller and walked away. So, we previously took the boxes off the bed to install it, which was excellent because getting to the brackets and stuff would have been absolutely horrible. So, this guy was ripped, the top was all ripped off, and I'm hoping that's the reason why the guy told us that they leak water and he was getting all of his equipment soaking wet and didn't like that. It's not pretty, but it is welded fairly heavily back together. I tried to refrain from grinding too much back to leave plenty of metal, and put some bare metal primer on there, of which my paint thinner cleaner took some of it off, but it'll be all right. The bummer is it looks like it softened the paint, I guess. Duh, it took it off, it probably softened it. So, wait for that to dry, and while I'm doing that, we'll stir this stuff up and hope that it's dry by then and slap a first coat on there. I think I'm gonna paint everything black. The hinges are already a little dingy, boogered, and whatever. Granted, I blasted that one with primer, but even this one that is relatively, well, I painted it too, but a lot of words to say, they weren't in that great a condition to begin with, so I'm thinking I'm going to blast those with either paint or roll-on bed liner, and same with these. The nice thing to do would be replace the whole handles, but I think for now, I'll just slap some paint or bed liner on there. I haven't determined if I want to try to protect this part or not. Yeah, and then there's the part where I don't know how I would. So we'll play that by ear. It'll be a surprise to both of us, or all of us, whatever the words are, how the handle ends up. So I will slap the first coat on and go from there. The bummer is it says to paint in, or to put the second coat on in 3 hours, but that'll be like 9 or later. So surely it won't care if I put it on first thing in the morning. Guess we'll find out. All right, first coat is down, and at the moment, the handles don't have much bed liner on them. Ooh, I think I'll try to fix that. I typically, if I put things on heavy, it said not to, and to like do that on the second coat. But that is hard for me to do. So, I also can't decide whether I want to try to keep using that smooth roller to have kind of a smoother finish that probably would be easier to clean. Looks like I did go plenty light right there. The other thing I didn't mention previously is if they do leak water from I don't know where, and these little plastic plugs, I'm hoping the bed liner will help seal them up, is the biggest reason for wanting to bed liner them. So I'm gonna grab the roller and hope it doesn't make a bigger mess. Right there. So that's a big old ugly mess. So, and we'll see how well the stuff sticks to those hinges. I didn't really rough them up very well versus the whole rest of the box I hit with 80 grit on a DA and or there it is, wire wheel to knock some of the rust off. But wonders of textured bed liner, it doesn't matter that much. So it's the next morning, and probably should have showed fixing my slight oops and making it a bigger oops last night, but I was so proud of myself I put down the roller and walked away. So, it's frustrating having tools that you know would take that down fairly well. It's still soft enough that, it's still soft enough that it can be leveled off, and a body cheese grater would make that perfect. Went and spent 20 minutes looking for mine, and it is nowhere to be found. It's one of the many things that hasn't been unpacked for 3 years. So, I'm not 100% sure what to do. That will be, try to make it smooth. I'm gonna try some sandpaper, or not that rasp, maybe that rasp, and see what kind of mess that makes. The baby version, that is very, very aggressive. I'll goof around with this for a minute and we'll see what we get. So, rarely do things work out this well for me, but that isn't horrible. Might look crappy on the video, but all the runny, it wasn't runny when I got done, it was Sam mess, is all gone. That's interesting. Don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember that being that way, but that is about as ugly as you can possibly get. And yes, I did try to sand and chip all that off quite as well as I could get, and that's how it looks. So anyway, a lot of words to say. This guy worked pretty stinking well, and I'm excited that, like the parts where it didn't have much of a run or anything, held up to filing really, really well, and it's still soft. So I don't think I mentioned previously that we've used this rafter stuff on the spray-on version on a couple different beds and liked it a lot. Flatbeds. Obviously not the most recent truck, which is currently rust coated. So I am gonna slap on another coat. I think I'm gonna use the smooth roller again, assuming it survived. Otherwise, we'll see what texture Brandy's purple rollers make. Survived meaning not dried out. So I'll take a picture once that's done. All right, all done with the second coat. The hinges look pretty decent to me. My repaired mess from last night isn't horrible. The latches are absolutely awful, but functional. And my little plastic plugs should be pretty well sealed in. This guy, same thing. Leaving the doors cracked because I bed linered the top of the doors, and one was trying to glue itself shut. So yeah, let that dry for probably a day, flip them upside down, and paint the bottom, and they will be done. You will be curious. I don't really care, but they don't show up really well here. Anyway, the roller lines of me making a mess out of it. I'd be curious if those show up or not, but like I said, really the goal is to make them look slightly better and keep water out, hopefully. Speaking of which, I never mentioned, they have these awesome big chunky foam seals. The little tab jobbers will probably need adjusted, and that would be hilarious if that's all it needed from the other guy, is just to tighten the latch to where it seals better when it closes. But we will find out. And I'm pretty sure the hinges will be fine with goop all over them. One way or another they will.
I think he did an amazing job. I love the way it looks. I can't wait to see it under the truck. He just has to put it back on the truck, and then it'll function like a toolbox like it's supposed to. So every once in a while, we talk about something long enough that eventually we just decide to try to get it. That didn't make any sense. But this is one of those things. We saw a similar creeper thing on some of the other YouTube channels that we watch, and had always kind of talked about how handy it would be and didn't really have a need for it, and it was kind of silly to spend the money. But then we get this truck and its front end is quite a bit higher off the ground, it seems like, or to get to the engine compartment is farther away from the front. I don't know, there's something about it that it's harder to get to from the ground, and the way that the bumper's designed, there's not a really good place to put your foot and stand to do work like there is on the purple truck. So finally convinced Sam to get one of these. If it's the original topside creeper, I'm sure there's other brands, and I don't know anything about it other than it seems to work really well for doing anything inside the engine compartment, like changing the oil or any of the things that might need to be done up there. And it's got a handy little bag in the front so you can put tools and probably bolts or things so that you don't lose them and drop them down inside the engine compartment somewhere to never be found again. So haven't used it a whole lot, but the little bit that we have so far, totally love it. Glad we got it. Should have probably got it sooner. In addition to the other things that we've talked about, he also got the filler neck put on the truck bed. So now we can go to a gas station and actually put fuel in the truck, which is super exciting. So we've got our grungy green cap and all of this super pretty hose hooked up under here. So now we can put gas in the tank. Good job, Sam.